All right, today we are going to be talking about how to convert equations that are not in the standard form of a circle into a standard form of a circle. Okay, so what this is 9.2 part 2, and your assignment is going to be just that, the 9.2 worksheet, and then that's the part 2 version of it. Okay, so how this will go is you will watch this video, fill out the notes. I'll do the first one, try the second one, and then I'll go through it as well. And then you will work on the assignment with the time that you have left in class. Okay. Now, from yesterday, what we talked about was the standard form of a circle. Okay, and you saw something like this: x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Okay. Now you can see very clearly the two equations that we have right now are not in that form. Okay, but we're going to be able to go ahead and to rewrite these using completing the square, some reorganizing and things like that, so that they are in the standard form equation of a circle. Okay, so let's look at this first one here together. We got x squared plus y squared plus 10x minus 4y plus 21 is equal to 0. Okay, here's the first thing that we're going to do. Okay, we're going to group some things together, starting with our x terms. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll put x squared plus 10x together. Now I'm also going to do the same thing with my y terms, plus y squared minus 4y, and then I still got the plus 21. Okay, so step one, we want to regroup these so that the x squared or the x terms are together and that our y terms are together. Now you'll notice this was a minus 4y. It stays minus 4y. Just like the other ones that have a plus, they stay plus. We keep with the sign that's directly in front. Okay. Now, once we've done this, what we want to look to do is to try to take the number to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to subtract 21 from both sides. Now, what that'll give me is something like this: x squared plus 10x plus y squared minus 4y is equal to negative 21. Okay. So step one, again, we want to reorganize it so that our x terms and our y terms are together. Then we want to take our numbers to the other side, okay, which was step two. Now, from here, what we want to look to do is to go through, and we need to put some parentheses around our x terms and our y terms. So that's what we're going to look to do here. We're going to group these with parentheses. Now, what we're going to do with these parentheses is actually go through and complete the square. Okay, so if you remember trying to find the c value, it was b over 2 squared. Now, for the x term, that'll be 10 over 2 squared, which is going to be 5 squared, which is 25. Now, what that means is I'm going to add 25 right here, and I'm also going to add it on the right side of the equation. Now, what's a little bit unique about this is I actually am going to find the c value for my y term as well. Now, that's going to be negative 4 over 2 squared, which is going to be then negative 2 squared, which is going to be 4. So I'll add the 4 inside that parentheses, which means I'm also going to add 4 over here. Okay, so essentially what we have to do is complete the square 2 separate times. Now, keeping the parentheses as they are, we're going to see something like this: x squared plus 10x plus 25, and then we'll close it, plus, and then y squared minus 4y plus 4, that's going to equal 8. Now, you can see we're getting close to what we want. Okay, we've got x's together, we've got y's together, we've got it equal to some number. Okay, but we're not quite there. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite each one of these. Okay, now what it'll be then, it'll be x plus 5 squared. Okay, now that plus 5 comes from, here, let's get a different color so we can see that a little better. This number right here, that number and this number are going to be the exact same. And it's going to be the same concept with the y. It's going to be y minus 2 squared. And again, where does that minus 2, where does that minus 2 come from? It's this minus 2 is the same thing as this minus 2. So after all that, we've gone through, we've got what we were trying to get. We've got the standard form of a circle. X plus 5 squared plus y minus 2 squared is equal to 8 squared. So what I want you to do is take a minute, pause the video, and try to work through this next problem. Okay, I've got x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 6y plus 14 is equal to 0. So try that, see what you come up with, and then we'll look at it together in just a second. All right, so let's start to work through it. Okay, again, same kind of concept here. We're grouping our similar terms. So x squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 6y plus 14, sorry, my pen's not working very well, is equal to 0. Now, just like we did over on the last one, step 2, we want to take our numbers away from our variables. Oh, come on, there we go. So now I've got x squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 6y is equal to negative 14. Now, it is possible if you want to combine those into the same step. That's fine. I get that most of us probably can do that. I just want to make sure I'm showing all of my work through this. Okay. Now, once we get it to here, we're going to put parentheses around the x term and the y term, and let's complete the square. Now, for the x term, that's going to be negative 8. I wrote negative 4. There we go. Negative 8 over 2 squared, which is negative 4 squared, which we're looking at 16. So I'll go ahead and add the 16 on both sides. And then for y, we're looking at 6 over 2 squared, which is 3 squared, which is 9. So I'm going to add 9 on both of these. So what our new equation is going to look like, we got x squared minus 8x plus 16 plus y squared plus 6y plus 9 is now going to be equal to 11. Okay? But again, we're not quite in the right format. We want to go through and get it so it's in that standard form. So on the left side over here, that's now going to become x minus 4 squared. And again, that minus 4 is this number right here. Plus y now plus 3 squared is equal to 11. And again, that's our number right there. And so just a couple steps to go through, just kind of walking back through the first step. Okay, we want to go through and make sure that we combine our x terms and our y terms. Okay, our second step is taking the number away from the variable. So in this case, we subtracted the 21 over here. It was minus 14. Our third step was going through, putting the parentheses on so that we can complete the square. Okay, and make sure, this is a very common mistake, that you're adding both terms to the right side. Okay, and we want to keep that entirely even. Okay, and then we get right here to step 4. So we have this nice long equation where we've got it all, the square has been completed. And then finally, for part 5 or step 5, we have our equation. So work through the worksheet. You're just looking to do some problems like this. Do it the best you can, and then we will look at it more when I get back on Monday.